So, as usual, I have a little list of stuff for people to read, some short updates. There's really actually not much at the moment, but I'm going to give people a few minutes to read that on their own.
Where's
Um,
this list?
It's pinned in the break room.
Thank you.
Oh, I was gonna say it's not in the meeting chat.
I can do that right now. Nope, not the social media chat. That's not helpful. I'll put it in the Discord chat here for meeting.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, and then suddenly there's like 30 more people looking at it. Perfect.
Where is this? Found it.
There we go. Pinned it.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, the small notes today are not really stuff that people are probably going to have a lot of questions about, other than the organizational changes, which we're going to be talking about in more detail here shortly after people get a chance to read that. One thing worth noting there is that Lux Operon, who is our decorations second, is hosting a gathering tomorrow at Kobold's Keep to just simply start kicking around ideas and brainstorming decoration, and maybe even a little bit of brainstorming of where those decorations will land in con space. She has a map drawn up that she has some rough ideas of what can go where. And then I had asked her, like, are you sure you want to make that an open invite and have 30 people all trying to talk at the same time? She's like, I can handle it. So challenge accepted, I guess.
Doesn't mean go there and talk over people.
No.
This isn't an open challenge. People who go deliberately to be rude will be dealt with.
Oh yeah. Don't do that. But if you
never challenge furries or the internet to do anything.
Yeah,
unless you want them to do it.
Fair point. So.
Wait, this is at Dragon's new shop?
Yes, that's correct.
Copy that.
Which I think is in what, like, where was it? Victorian Square? Victorian Square?
It's like right behind the movie theater.
Yeah, okay.
I was just there a few weeks ago for the first time.
Oh, cool.
In Reno.
Yeah.
Well, technically Sparks. Yeah, the Reno Sparks area. So it's in the suburbs of Victorian Square. Got it.
In the same building as the Nevada Association of School Boards, according to Google.
Yeah, there's a link to the there's a Google Maps link right there.
So yeah, and also I'll talk about theme a little bit. As we've already established, it's going to be a sequel to the 2019 theme. They still have lots of material left to think of. And also, AJ, thank you for stepping up and being willing to do the auto editing on the podcast for them.
It's a labor of love.
And there is already a lot of podcast if people want to listen to podcast or ingest the theme in that form. The link to the podcast and the RSS feed that feeds the other like podcast apps like iTunes and Spotify, that link is currently broken. I need to sit down with our website guy and get that straightened out, or figure out how to get back into iTunes and Spotify and point them to the correct new file. And also get the new podcast, or get that ready so that when there's new podcast episodes, we can continue adding on to it as well. For the time being, I put down a link for where you guys can download the podcast episodes if you want to. They'd still exist on the server, just the feed that tells you where they all are is broken.
I've also dropped that in the.
Okay.
I've also dropped it in the meeting chat and the YouTube.
Yep. And then so at there, you can simply just download the podcast episodes directly, save them on your device, listen to them at your leisure. The campaign book, we have a PDF of that too if you don't have a physical copy from 2019. And the con store has lots of physical copies left as well that will be put up for sale once the con store is back up and running. I think we've given people plenty of time to read these few bits of notes, so I think it's probably a good time to have Levi start talking about what we're doing in terms of organizational changes. You ready?
Real quick before you do that.
Okay.
Make a note for yourself, if you would, to put a couple of those books aside.
Okay.
I feel like there will probably come opportunities where we might want to have some physical copies of the old book at the next con, like a bundle in the auction or something like that, you know.
Oh, we've got like 300 copies left, and they only sell like 5 or 10 a year. I don't think I even need to worry about it.
Okay.
Don't tempt fate.
No. Worst case, I've got my own personal copy. But you're right.
I am ready.
It'd be a good thing for something like charity auction. Go ahead, Levi.
Okay. We starting this year, there is going to be some organizational changes. I'm going to give the TLDR, Tycho, if you want to kind of feel free to interject and flesh it out, if you will. The long and short of it is this was announced here last Monday to our leads. There are now directors who are above leads. There are, I believe, 5 of them, myself included. And essentially, a set of leads will now, instead of reporting all the leads going directly to Tycho, will now go to a specific director. They're not there to tell them kind of what to do. They're generally there just to make sure that planning is done, deadlines are being met, things like room layouts, volunteer needs, things like that get addressed. I am one. One for sales is Morse, who I believe is in here.
Hello.
Are you in? Hello. We have Beauchamp, who is leading up programming. Is Bo in here?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay. And we have, I'm trying to find his name, Argon, who is handling our creative aspects. That's going to be all the theme stuff. Is Argon?
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
I'm in here.
Okay. And I feel like I'm missing someone. Am I missing someone? Oh,
You're missing
Berta.
The tiger. The stripes are doing their job.
So, if someone would please, I'd like you to go ahead and put the organizational chart in the break room and the meeting chat.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. I'd like you guys to go ahead and take a look at that. If you have any questions, definitely for leads, talk to the directors. Or if you have any other questions regarding that, definitely speak to Tycho. The main goal of this is to take work off of Tycho's shoulders so that he can more focus on the big picture things. Let's see. Is there anything else I'm missing, Tycho? I think that's about it.
Well, one or two other things.
Sure.
One, I think our plan is for these people to be, or for these directors to be similar to project managers, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're familiar with project managers from a professional, like especially like engineering kind of jobs, then this role is fairly similar to that. It's more about communicating and facilitating communication and making sure everybody's on the same page than it is about like bossing people around or telling them that they have to do something some particular way. I want all the leads to continue to the individual department leads should have the autonomy to continue running their department the way that they deem appropriate, with just simply oversight from the directors and by extension myself. Additionally, we are quite sure that this org chart is not going to be final. This is a first attempt. We'll probably try to keep it the same for this year, but I'm quite sure that we're going to discover that some arrangements work, some don't, and that's okay. This is still a step in the right direction, and as long as we keep stepping in the right direction, we'll eventually get to where we need to be.
Also, I think important to note is that this does not mean you can't talk to other department leads.
Oh, yes, that's right. Sorry, thank you.
I know that was one of your points.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of my most important points is do not feel like you have to like talk to your director to talk to someone else's director to talk to their department. You can talk to each other directly. That's fine. That's encouraged. That's what we want people to do. But like just keep your directors in the loop.
What we
And
don't want
usually-
people to do is everybody goes to Tycho, then Tycho has too much to remember.
Right.
Generally, that's how things get missed or get shoved off the plate per se.
Yep, exactly. And actually, yeah, thank you for expressing it that way, the too much to remember. It's not that I'm not willing, it's just that I can't keep it all in my head anymore.
Yeah, there's the flow capacity issue of a human brain.
Yeah.
What
So
do you
yeah,
got?
for most leads, you will report to a specific director now, rather than myself. And if for some reason there's a problem with your director or like somebody's not communicating well enough, that's where I come in.
Morse
well
is
as,
also
of course,
sharing the chart.
Yeah, as well, of course, being involved in various places. Like the whole idea really is that this isn't supposed to dramatically change how anything happens as much as just make it easier for important things to not be missed. And also to give a little bit of definition about where decisions flow from.
Also, because of the new directors, a few departments kind of have new leads.
Oh yes, thank you for reminding me of that. I definitely want to congratulate Chaz, who I believe is here. Chaz is now going to take the place of Morris and now be our registration lead. Good luck, Chaz. We're all counting on you.
Thank you.
Oh, got it.
Shoot a Phil.
GLHF.
Secondly, this is something that's been in the works and has been in the back of my mind for quite some time, and I've always never really felt we had the staff to do so. I'm definitely looking forward to being proven wrong on this. We have accessibility, which is going to be Roman. Roman, are you in here? I don't know if he is or not.
He's on a cruise.
No,
Ah.
I don't see his name in here.
Okay.
Unless he's in here
Roman's-
under a different name.
Roman is helping out with accessibility. If that is something that interests you, let me know or let someone else know, and we'll get you in touch with him to help out.
Suppose. I think another I guess important thing to touch on. If I can or you can, Tycho, or you can, Levi, the convention committee.
I'll let you go ahead, Verda.
Okay. Basically, just to formalize where decisions come from, because this has been done somewhat informally already. The decisions relating to any particular convention year and not extending beyond that convention year will be done by what we're calling the convention committee, which is the directors, chair, hotel liaison for working with the hotel, and also we can add some people if there's a need for whatever reason. This was just very kind of undefined in the past, and it was unclear sort of
Very ad hoc.
who would make those decisions. So this is just to try and formalize something like that. Some cons run it directly from their board of directors. Some cons do this kind of setup. Some cons run it all through the chair, which we have been doing in the past, but it becomes at our size it's not feasible. That's something that works for much smaller conventions. And we decided that the board of directors is better off focusing on multi-year things, legal things, business things, that sort of stuff, and having the within year decisions being made in a slightly less formal setting is probably beneficial to the convention as a whole, since for a board of directors to do things properly, it takes meetings and minutes and paperwork. That said, we're not at this point at this exact moment, but we are going to expand the board of directors a bit, so it's not just 3 people. It's just not as high a priority as some of the other things that we've been working on.
Like this reorganization.
Yeah, when that comes up, it won't be a secret. I think that's all for that.
Yep. Any questions?
There is one question in the meeting chat. What is the difference between single role and specific events?
Specific events are just sort of like this one person does this one thing. Like, oh, we have this one person run this one thing because it's their passion or whatever. Some of those are on there.
Charity blackjack as an example.
Yeah, some of those are on there just because of copying from the old org chart and just trying to define what we already had on there. They may or may not remain on there. It sort of depends because, that would just sort of fall under the programming umbrella in general. As we said, we're going to be tweaking it as we go along. Whereas single role stuff is more like this is a person involved throughout the year in a greater capacity. Whether it's like the DJ coordinator, somebody who needs to be involved they're not just running one event, they have to work with the DJs throughout months of lead up and all that. Or what are others are on here? Media relations is another one on here. Onboarding is an ongoing job that's, you have to work with bringing people on all year, or obviously con chair for the big obvious one. So I guess it's kind of a scope of responsibility sort of thing, or a scope of vaguely a scope of work kind of thing of how much you have to be active outside of the con itself.
Any other questions?
I have a question. How is this Slack migration going?
We'll get to that.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's part of the next.
Oh my god, I forgot that we were migrating to Slack.
Yep.
We haven't really talked about it too much yet, so but
yep,
that will be
Oh,
covered.
100%. I think that might have been told to me like briefly at the end of BLFC last year, and I completely forgot about it.
So on that subject,
another
Levi?
quick question from the meeting chat.
Okay.
Will there be a living document version of the flowchart to keep up with org changes?
Yeah, once it's settled in a bit and possibly made slightly prettier, it will be updated for sure. Yes. The exact specific way of how that will be done, I'm not quite certain on. I put the org chart together, and I'm not, as we say, graphic design is not my passion. So it's functional, and it will be updated and kept up to date. And I think, with some of the other changes, it'll be a little easier to point at. As far as whether it's going to be like a online document sort of thing or an updated PDF on Slack or what is going to be, subject to the tools that we figure out work best and so on.
Another question from YouTube from Tabacus. They run charity poker. Do they have a new point of contact, or who should that be?
Yes, Tabacus, get in touch with me. The reason I have not sent that to you is I don't know your Telegram. So absolutely, I apologize for the missing you. But yeah, get in touch and we'll absolutely get you all the information. But to generally answer that question, that's going to be Beauchamp, who is in charge of programming.
Also, if somebody does reach out to the person that they used to talk to, presumably Tycho, that person, presumably Tycho, will tell them in that case who is best to go to, and then we would expect that from then on they know. But if you message Tycho first, be like, I always talked to you, and now I don't know who to talk to, and he'll tell you where to go. Like it's not.
And actually, on that subject, I need to ask all of you a favor. If I reach out to you instead of your director, you should tell me like, hey, do you really need to speak to me, or should you be speaking to my director about this, or should we be looping in my director? Like, I still have bad habits, and it's going to take a while to break them. So please help me break these bad habits, and make sure that we have people looped in that are appropriate for various communications. Now, if we're just chatting about something or kicking around ideas, that's a different story. But if we're like making decisions, we need to make sure that it's not between me and a lead. It is between like me and a lead and their director. And you're all going to have to help me with this because I still have bad habits.
Every time Tycho does that, we add an additional slice of cake during the con.
Oh no.
Slice of cake to what?
There's not enough
Tycho,
cake.
are you hungry? Here, have some cake in your face.
I would actually die.
Please do not.
Another one from Spuds in the meeting chat. Would be helpful to have headshots of people for those of us not local and to point out to a runner, go find them.
We can work on that for the AtCon stuff. Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
idea.
that
That's
sounds
something we
nice.
can look into later.
Yep.
Be able
In
to put
general,
name-
I'm scared
faces
if,
to names.
somebody says, "Go find this face at con."
Yeah.
Some
I do
people
not
are
want to be
more.
hunted. Please don't hunt me.
Some people are more. You need to find this person than others too.
Yep.
You want to go with the D&D theme, you can give everyone a character sheet.
A wanted poster.
Ooh, I like that wanted poster.
I don't want to make presumptions, but I think it's generally safe to say that most directors are going to have radios on them and can be reached by that method. I know I will.
We'll figure it all out by
Yeah.
con. That is a good idea though, to have like this is what this person looks like at the very least for the directors once we get
Yes.
around to con.
Yeah, and they're and kind of overall, we ask for your patience, we ask for your understanding. It's an adjustment period for everyone. Sometimes questions will be asked that I personally I don't know the first thing about the party floor. I'm gonna have to spend some time with Kirst and Sin and do everything we can to get on the same page.
And of course, when you have situations like that, I am still around and happy to help, like
Yeah,
fill in knowledge gaps, that kind of thing. The whole point is to try and get this knowledge distributed out of just my head. And to that effect, I also forgot to mention, I did mention it when we messaged all the leads with this a week ago, that this also makes the con a bit more resilient and takes care of a single point of failure, a hit by a bus problem. Because if one of these directors for some reason is indisposed and suddenly can't be at the con or can't come to the con, they get sick, something happens in their family and they suddenly have to leave, etc., I can step in and be the director for that chunk of the convention in their stead until they can return. And also, if something happens to me, then all of the directors are still there and still running their chunks of departments, and the con should still run more or less the same, with or without me.
okay,
So
we'll
that-
put Vert
Knock on
on
wood.
stage.
Handle
So that should
no.
yeah, as I say, that should help with resiliency. And that's all I think I have to say about that. And I'm very happy that we will be more resilient as a result.
Cool. I think it's probably safe to move on to the next thing that.
Yep. And I think you and Levi were primarily working on that. So I'm going to let you two speak to that.
Okay. That's going to be communication changes. First off, I want to give Shivano has helped me with many a good idea. One of the ideas he definitely pushed for, so thank you, Shivano, was for us to put
I
out a
know nothing.
volunteers. To put out a volunteer survey after the con. We got some really good responses. If you filled it out, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. If for some reason you still want to fill it out, you are more than welcome to do so. There is no such thing as too much feedback. There were two, in terms of kind of how we can improve, there were two things that really stood out. The first one was not expected. For some reason, you all want a staff lounge, and I don't know why. The second was communication. A lot of people who had their first year of con, they didn't really know where to go. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know who to report to. A lot of people, I had people mention, okay, I got a email saying I'm assigned to this department. What's next? One of the things in HR we're trying to improve this year is both automation and communication. Some of these are going to be nice and good and everyone's happy. Some of these, as Nikan mentioned, maybe not so much. This year, when your volunteer application's approved, you will get an email detailing who is your lead, what department you're in, what's going on, what to expect, where to go. Generally things of that nature. We're going to try and make it as customized as possible. If you are in a department that has an NDA, that NDA will automatically be sent to you. If you do not, if you're handling personal information, if you for some reason don't sign it, or you refuse it, or for whatever have you, we'll reach out and we'll go, hey, you know, what's going on, so we can follow up with you. I am trying to, my mind is suddenly a blank and I'm forgetting like 10 different things. Google. We are transitioning our email system to G Suite.
Google Workspace.
Google Workspace, thank you.
They'll change the name again in a year or two, don't worry.
Oh, yes. So leads who have an email address, Glitch has been helping with that. You'll be reached out to shortly to help you with that transition one by one. Assuming everything works, assuming everything gets set up, the goal is to transition December 1st. So not too far from now. So if you do get that message from myself or Glitch, please respond. We want to help this go through smoothly.
Yeah, I think there's like technical reasons why we have to basically transition all of them at the same time, right?
Yeah, it has to all be switched.
Okay.
It's domain record reasons.
Yep. DNS is fun.
Hey, before we go further, I have a question.
Sure.
So we need more volunteers for themed decorations. Is there something that we could do to put out for something like right now?
Not right now for reasons because we don't even have the volunteer application open. Funny enough, you mentioned that.
Right.
The hope is to actually open that up sometime quietly next week. Either that or
Great,
when the
thank
dates are
you.
announced.
That'd be good.
So yeah, we gotta go just one step at a time.
I just want to check, make sure, because we do need people.
Oh yeah, that's not a problem. The next thing is going back to communication. We are beginning to transition to Slack instead of Telegram for most majority of things. When your volunteer application is approved, you'll be receiving a Slack invite. Slack is going to become our primary communications platform. I know a lot of people aren't exactly fans of Slack. Myself and Verda, we looked at quite a few options, including Discord, including Slack, including Telegram. And I think I had some very unkind words to say about Microsoft Teams.
Fair.
Please no.
Why is transitioning happening?
Because we want to get everyone in one place and on the same page so that they can, at a glance, if any volunteer needs to talk to a different department for some reason, they don't need to find that one particular person. They can simply just go into that room and ask a question.
Also, there's also issues with communication and splintering of groups and the inability to find groups in Telegram, for example, and the fractured communications it has led to in prior years. And there's also some kind of sort of legal reasons.
Retention.
It's not like the biggest issue, but it is a consideration that we have to keep in mind.
Quick question from YouTube. Why Slack? Why the switch? Just curious.
well, we pretty much, I think we just Varda just covered that, but
They
basically,
contact the lead, and I believe
yeah,
they-
it's to get everyone in one place on one platform, so that anyone has, because as I kind of went over before, you have those people who ask, well, where do I go? What do I do? And they get a Slack invite, they can join Slack. Like, say if I'm in registration, I can go into registration, go, hi, I'm a new volunteer. What do you want me to do? What do I need to do?
It also helps with this isn't as relevant to everybody, but it definitely also helps with the leads being able to, or the directors in particular, being able to be involved with all the different departments under them without having to keep track of every Telegram group that is spun up or whatever. This will, like, at this exact moment, nothing is changing. We're just, telling everybody that this is going to happen.
Yep. We're
Another
working
one
on
from
the
the meeting chat. Does Slack work well in low bandwidth environments, say during the con?
It doesn't work any worse than any other system.
Yes.
Yes, Telegram groups will eventually be shut down, possibly with the exception of social. We're working out the details. There is some stuff in progress. We're not 100% shutting down every single use of Telegram. I don't want to specifically say what, because we don't know specifically what, but in general, most things will be on Slack, not on Telegram.
Yep.
We'll almost certainly still have the social chat, and there might be some other things that we let run there, but
in other words, a lot of learning as we go, what works and everything.
Yeah, and we don't have all the answers right this minute, but we know the direction we want to go, and if something doesn't work, we'll do something else.
Levi, question really quick.
Yes.
I'm going to need to run fairly soon. Do you need me for anything?
Nope, you're all good.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Enjoy your desert.
Might have to run in like 15 minutes as well.
No. We're going to wrap up here. There's one, I think that's about all I have for communication changes, other than just saying there's going to be a lot more automated things, but I think that's about it. I think, Tycho, did you want to talk about the con dates?
Yes.
Please.
So we are almost done with the contract, but not quite. The ink is not dry on the contract, so I cannot give you the precise dates, but I know that people are getting nervous about feeling like we're running out of time. And I'm going to share with everybody that we were unable to get June for 2023, and the best date that we found from the available options is in autumn. And once we have an actual contract signed, I will be eager to share the precise dates with everybody. And there's no way for me to just tell all of the volunteers without simultaneously telling the public. So I'm afraid I can't share that with everybody here until I have more details. And I think we have a little announcement that's going to go out on Twitter here momentarily that Stoic should be sending.
So we're not even in the summer time frame. Like, we're not even April through July time frame, are we?
We are in the fall.
We are in the fall, autumn.
That is surprising. I was not expecting that.
No, it was
Me
kind of a
neither.
surprise to me too, but that's
we weren't expecting
it. Interesting.
It's what we were able to make work. So
I think something we can mention, just because it's interesting background information and it's just industry stuff that is interesting to know, is that there has been a massive surge in demand for convention event space as businesses are looking to pull people together. Like events are running, in sort of post-COVID environment for a lot of industries anyways, and now there's a lot more businesses that are operating remotely, and those businesses are also now looking for space to have like get all the company together for a CEO stands on the stage and lectures you meeting or whatever they do. But
right, I think effectively what's going on here basically is like just like people came roaring back to furry conventions after COVID was over. That same thing is happening with all kinds of gatherings, period, not just furry conventions. There's a bunch of pent up demand that is making it harder to find and harder to get.
I'm just surprised because, like, oh yeah, we love these people. They're usually here at
Yeah,
this time.
we will have
bit
a little more
also-
information once we have the dates. Once we can announce the dates, we'll have a little more information on why. We'll tell you what we can tell you, right? Some of this is stuff that we can't talk about. That's just how it is with industry and contracts and stuff like that. But our general goal is to not misinform our staff or our attendees or to hide things. You know, we like being honest with everybody here. And that's still going to be the philosophy going forward. We just have to wait a bit on it. The specifically when we can reveal the exact dates after the contract is finished, we will tell you what we can about the reasoning.
Yep, correct.
And it's like one of these things is that it's like the hotel also was scheduling like an elevator remodel, which we all accidentally experienced that before. So
yeah,
we don't.
That knocked out one of the
one of the alternate dates was like, yeah, you can do it here, but half the elevators will be closed. It's like, well, nope.
Oh fuck no.
To their credit, the hotel were the ones who said that that's probably a bad idea. We didn't even have to tell them that.
They're learning.
So, yeah, they are learning. So good on them. So yes, like I said, we'll provide more detail as soon as we can. And it pains me to have to keep holding off on this, but I don't really know any other way to do this. So
it shouldn't be too much longer.
Please, thank you for your patience. And yeah, I don't think it will be too much longer.
But we did feel it was important to say fall because there's a lot of people who are like, I need to do things for June. And it's like, well, unfortunately not.
Right. So we do have more than 9 months left. You're not quite in the time crunch that you all may be thinking.
I guess my only other question is this a one-off, this is just a one-off time, or is this like them saying, nah, we want you in the fall now?
This is to be determined.
Really sure yet.
Yeah. It is not explicitly we will always be here in the future, but it is also not 100% out of the question, I guess. Basically, there's going to be some work to do, going to be some research. We're going to pull the community and do various data gathering things, but
we'll continue to try to decide whatever seems like the best date we can for any given year from the available options.
Bertie, can you check your Telegram? Thank you.
That's pretty much what that comes down to.
My Telegram just says that you're going to make a joke.
Yeah. No. Yeah,
So,
never mind.
Okay. Sorry, I was confused.
So anyway, any other questions other than probably the things I can't answer yet?
Will the food vouchers for next year also still be redeemable at the adult refreshment stands?
I expect they should be, yes. Actually, I can't remember if we actually specified that explicitly in the contract, but I don't think we necessarily need to. Did we specify in the contract?
Yes, we did.
Clinton says
Cool.
yes.
Good.
Okay. I have a question really quick. If I know we're not supposed to, but if I go ahead and tell people that we're actually going to go ahead and the dates are going to be...
Please.
Oh, okay. I was kicked.
Please, I need the dates.
I'm just hoping they're not over the same time as another con.
No.
Fine, I won't tell the dates. Okay, I got it.
It's always our priority to not. Well, I should say our top priority. It's always a high priority to avoid stacking with other cons, right? Because we want
please
we want to
don't.
be supportive of other cons whenever possible.
Yep. But that said, at the same time, there are only 52 weekends in a year. So, and there's more than 52 cons in the world now. It is impossible to dodge absolutely everything. So a lot of times it becomes like the least bad option.
Yeah,
really.
a size and distance kind of thing, really. Where it's like if it's a small con far away, we're less likely to worry about it than if it's a big con nearby. And, you can extrapolate from that as you will.
Yeah. Going alongside of that, Game Room would have some issues if it does run alongside a con that is paying Game Room.
Right. Yeah. I'll talk about that with you offline, DJ.
Question from the meeting chat. When do Dealer's Den / Artist Alley applications typically open? Is it when registration opens, or before, or after?
Historically,
and it looks
we'll
like Damek
do-
answered.
Yes. Did he? Oh,
Well, he just said that he needs dates before. I
Dates
think I
for-
just want to know, are they usually opened before or after Reg? It's usually kind of around the same time as Reg.
They can be at the same time as Reg, but they are usually sent out and processed and approved or declined before we open for hotel, because dealers need to be sure to get hotel rooms.
Yep.
I know last year, I distinctly recall because I had a mini heart attack. We opened Dealer's Den applications, and in the process, volunteer applications accidentally opened as well, and I had a small heart attack.
Oops.
Yeah, so basically, as soon as we can announce dates, we're probably going to get those processes rolling so that we can start getting in applications and
some amount of the introduction of directors and so on, and the general changes around that are also making a bit more of a standardized timing template, which is something that will happen kind of in the future. But a lot of this is the either, we know that this has been sort of here and there over the years as different things have happened and we're trying to fix that, or it's just hasn't quite been standardized on yet.
Yep.
But
yeah, that's another goal.
There is a lot of things are being tweaked right now.
Yeah, that's another goal that I plan to sit down with folks over, is developing sort of a timeline of critical things that must get done and their deadlines for when they must get done. And
we're gonna have a Gantt chart.
And if you really want to put together a Gantt chart to make everyone's eyes bleed, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll have you know that Gantt charts for things like tunnel construction projects are some of the most awesome looking things.
Blech.
Those things look so cool.
Blech. Anyway, so that's everything that I have to share for the time being. And I hope that by the time we have our next meeting, actually, I hope it'll be well before the time we have our next meeting, I will have some real meat and potatoes to share with everybody in terms of details. So,
all right.
Thank you all for coming. Were there any other questions that needed to be addressed before I call it?
I tried latte.
Thank you.
I tried. They
Just
didn't
quickly
like
asking
it.
you-
I did have something I wanted to talk about, but it's not really meeting stuff. But so yeah, you can probably call it.
Okay. Cool. We will end the meeting then. Ghost, if you would be so kind as to close the stream and let us know when you've done that, and then we can stick around in this room and BS and chat all we